hit the record button.
Yep.
Just to let you know, Rip's phone will go off the entire time. He gets text that sounds like a ringing phone, and
hey, technology.
Every 5 seconds he'll get it. So just fucking
technology. It's okay.
We don't really have a script for this show either. We don't have a big format.
Fine.
We won't ask any tough questions. We just like to hang out.
We got no research.
We don't do research. Rip's actually leaving right now, so
perfect.
20-minute break. Yeah. Now he's taking off, so I have no idea what he's doing.
Hey, man, we'll be fine.
So what's up, man? How are things with you? You're living the dream still. That's awesome to see.
You know, things are good. Things have been busy, and it's funny. It's you know, especially after just making the decision to leave LA, acting has really kind of just all of a sudden picked up, and it's going better than ever, which is, I mean, that's kind of funny how that all works, I guess. But yeah, we're doing well. And of course, NWA coming up. We have Always Ready pay-per-view coming up here. And God, that's the 11th, I think. Yeah.
You should probably know that.
No, because I just know my flight. I make it in a day early. I'm at a point now, we're going to be very honest. And I was talking to a friend about this, where she was like, oh, so you don't really like know where I'm like, no, I just want to know what time my plane is leaving and where I'm going.
That's awesome.
And then I like how I get there. I have no idea where I am, proximity or anything like that, because I get up, I land, someone picks me up, they drive me around, and then I go home, and that's it. And I don't have to deal with navigation and all the, you know, the typical kind of mumbo jumbo that people get all stressed about. And if one thing that kind of traveling the world has told me, and being on the road 300 days a year, where, you know, a lot of the times you're getting yourself, like you have to get your own rental cars and hotels. I have learned efficiency, and it's not only efficiency in how to pack a bag, it's efficiency in how to kind of manage your time to where, like, I can be calm and cool as a cucumber. And if we need to be somewhere and like, I will be there to the minute. And that's it. So that's just kind of how I roll.
That's awesome, man. So I didn't know you left LA. So you left LA.
I did. Yes. The reality is, like, there's about 8 TV shows that are shot in LA, and there's over 40 going on in Atlanta right now. And then plus the movies and everything. And it's just, you know, LA was just, it's not my cup of tea. And I was lucky though. I lived, you know, on the outskirts of LA and in kind of a nice, more rural area, but it was still a little bit city, but it was very like clean and just really, really awesome looking. And so, yeah, that was that.
Well, I'll get into some older stuff here in a minute, but how did you get into originally? Did you just start sending stuff out for acting of movies and that kind of stuff? Was that after WWE?
Yeah, I had kind of transitioned, and I was looking to kind of make maybe a jump, and I met a guy, God rest his soul, named Mitch Ackerman. I had a show in the Staples Center, who was formerly the vice president of Walt Disney Television, and he was there for 15 years. And for a network executive in that position, that's a very long time. And so yeah, that was that. And he just kind of encouraged me and kind of steered me in the right direction. And one thing led to another. And then, I just ended up kind of forging my own little way back there, and kind of got the resume to where, you know, I can now go to Atlanta and people are like, oh, okay, so you have done some stuff, you've been in some stuff, like you're capable of being on. It's so interesting, the parallels between, like, and okay, wrestling and acting, but maybe it's wrestling and anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Rip would always say, you know, it's your basics, you know, it's knowing you can get in here and no matter what happens, you're going to be all right. And that's why it's funny, because I just got pretty much, and I can't say too much about it, but a huge opportunity in acting.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I got some news that was like, okay, here we go. And you know what my answer was? Yes, I can, and I'm over prepared. And but that's the thing, and that's that mentality that you never lose. That's the you know, knowing that, again, whatever happens, you're going to be fine. And I've said this on several interviews. I mean, I owe my career to Rip. You know, he made it possible for me to go anywhere in the world and make a living at wrestling, because it's knowing how to work different styles, knowing how to read a crowd. There's so many different elements that go to it. And then knowing too, like when the bell rings, that no, like whatever is thrown at me, I'm going to be fine. Like I am not worried about it. It's just that sense of calm. And you can really tell anyone that was trained by Rip. Even some of the championship from Hollywood guys that I was doing the booking for them. And I did that for about 2 years. And there was a guy, you try like big barrel chest. I forget his name, but he's doing like a Dino Bravo gimmick, and it's
this was like with Dave, Dave, right?
Yes, Dave Marquez, yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sandwich from California. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan just walked in. Dylan used to work for Dave.
Okay.
You worked with Dave, didn't you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, we were neighbors.
Yeah, you were neighbors. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. So yeah, it's a again, like it was cool because I could completely tell that Rip trained him. You know what I mean? Like to how he stood, how he presented himself, and how he carries himself in the ring and out of the ring for that matter. But yeah, it was just, you can definitely tell people with that OVW training. And it's funny because in NWA, there's so many of us there now. We're just like, oh yeah,
that's wild. I think you've definitely proven over the years that you can pretty much do any style or any character or anything. And
well, that's thanks to Rip.
I mean,
wait a minute, don't fucking be putting me over. No, you guys did the goddamn work. You guys pushed each other. You guys put up with my old ass because I had to test you, because I was like the goddamn Sergeant Carter preparing Gomer Pyle to go to war and do Vietnam or whatever. And I had to test you guys, and some I could push and some I couldn't because they couldn't handle it. Mm-hmm. Some of them were tough ass guys mentally, and some guys were fucking pussies. Excuse me.
Yeah. They
were, and you had to fucking see who those you could push.
Yeah.
But you guys pushed each other, and a lot of the practices were like your guys' Madison Square Garden at that fucking time. And you come from all walks of life, got contract guys. That's like, I imagine first day I'd get on you saying, yeah, you are allowed to work out, you are allowed to stand or whatever.
Yes.
And you was about what, 19 years old maybe?
I was 20.
Okay. Now, how tall are you? About 6'3"?
6'4".
Okay, 6'4". So you're just a huge guy. And then now, you know what's so funny is I seen pictures of you yesterday. Now you're just jacked. You look really fucking good. You know what I mean?
Oh, thanks.
But you've got the mature muscle now, and that's been years and years and years of working out consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the size, you get the fucking look. Now you just had to get that goddamn fucking brain. And when I trained guys very, very different. I trained them in an art where they could learn to call a match. You could fucking cut promos on the goddamn fucking fly. Now, and I didn't teach you stupid moves.
Rip's working on his profanity too.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's again, you know, I think I'll talk about the pink elephant in the room. That's the problem with the business today, to where like, and it's not just me trying to be like, oh, these kids today, because this is a very and I've looked at this, you know, objectively. So this is an objective opinion. When you look at the ratings where people aren't watching, okay, athletically, if you look at the athletic stunts that are performed, there's never been a better time in the business, right? But you can go to Instagram and see some guy, you know, fall off the Empire State Building in a skateboard or something like that. And, you know, why should you watch wrestling? And the answer is the characters, right? Like, and I've always said this, if you don't care about who's in the ring, like what is the matter? Like, why would I want to watch just because I may see a cool flip and a bunch of fake punches that like they borderline insult my intelligence? Now there's some very good people out there today too, in all companies. I don't want to lie, but in general, like philosophically, I think, you know, pump the brakes. First of all, I mean, and I'm not trying to sound whatever, I would cut a bunch of people off of TV. And this goes for any company, because there's a bunch of people on TV that, in my opinion, do not belong on TV. Because when the 15-year-old sitting in the front row is bigger than you, there's a problem. Now, there's some very talented small guys. And I'm not trying to, again, this is not going after small guys, because in my opinion, if you bring things to TV, right? If you bring something, and like Darby Allin, right? The kid that paints his face, is that the kid that paints his face?
Yeah.
Him or or right. It's something that like, okay, I will watch this dude to see what happens. And that's the it factor, right? I don't know what it is, but that kid, in my opinion, he's special because he stands out on TV. And that's when I was booking, right? Like as a booker, that's all I would look at. Like I wouldn't watch the matches live. I would watch them on TV because sometimes people just read differently on camera and they emote something different on camera than they do in person, right? Because you always hear the people, right? Like my as a booker, I like to be an earshot of the people so I can hear what they're doing and what they're reacting to, but watching from a monitor so I can see like, okay, how can I use this person to their biggest strengths on television, right? And that's kind of what it is. And you know, there's again, I know there's all different philosophies, but in my opinion, character. I know that was long-winded, but hey,
that's awesome. So obviously you had a big transition in WWE with your character, with the Damien Sandow character.
Mm-hmm.
So was that, I mean, was that you? Was that somebody else? I think I remember it was mostly you, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like, okay, so it was an amalgamation of different things. It was this is God's honest truth. We were at the house in Tampa, Boris's house. By Boris, I'm talking about Santino for you non-OVW people that are listening. And because we all live together in Tampa, and we start watching stuff, and we pulled up Rip's name. We start watching all Rip stuff on YouTube, and we're like, oh, that's cool. And I said, you know what? That's awesome. I'm going to get a pair of pink trunks and just use them on the house show and see what happens. And I did that, and I started getting like really good reactions. We're like, huh? And it was just basic pink trunks. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I kind of took it a little step further, and you know, I was a little bit of feminine, shall we say? And then at the same time, we watched some Lanny Poffo stuff. It was him doing this like thing about Shakespeare. He had this whole like video when he was arrested for peeing on Shakespeare's grave, and then he's writing a poem and doing backflips at a park while a family's trying to have a picnic. It's quite good, by the way. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to kind of start doing a little more flips now, and I did more flips. And then Dusty was the one that's like, you need to get a robe like Duke Phil. And okay, all right. And then so like, and I got one. He said no, and then I had to kind of like find my little niche. And I remember the robe was a template of Bob Backlund's. It was like a weird, bad template of Bob Backlund's, and I purposely bought like the worst blue material I could find, and like the robe was ugly. It was just like this white piping around it, and it was just a basic, like, I mean, looked like, you know, it was rejected for like the Holiday Inn bathrobes.
Like a shower, like you're robing and getting out of the shower.
Yeah, and exactly. So like that happened, and then I was like, that needs to be ugly because I'm going to come down and act one way. That I'm going to take it off, and that's when I just got the purple knee pads, and I just took it off, and like then I would start acting like a little bit of feminine, and then people were like, whoa. And it was just that like that quick, in and of itself, like Damien Sandow was a character change. And then that's why like I think I'm kind of like found my niche in acting, because like one personality, I get bored with it really quick, and I do not like being a one note player. So Sandow, there was that juxtaposition, which is even like, I know this is like the microcosm as opposed to the macrocosm, because I was wrestling the Invisible Man, you know, about 3 years later. But it's no, like I find it really interesting, right? When you can play on different archetypes, you know what I mean? And kind of like mold the two to where as a viewer, you know, you just go, huh. So like, even if my face doesn't read as interesting on camera as someone's, you know, for whatever reason, like character wise, you're going to see what's like, there's something going on. And that's why like with WWE, that was strategic, you know, for everything from the pink to the beard to like the way I cut my hair. And I would put dark circles, like a little bit of dark makeup around my eyes to make it look like I've been up reading books all night. Like the Sandow character was very, very thought out. Like my skin had to be perfect, and you know, all that stuff. It was kind of cool psychologically, like where I went. Was the
beard a Steel Man tribute?
No, it was not. And God,
like
God, what a character!
Sure looked like it.
What a character,
man! No, it was awesome, man. And again, I'm always partial to guys that you know, from OVW that I was, you know, ever trained with or in the ring with or whatever. But I thought the Damien Sandow thing was just on fire.
Thank you.
I loved watching that. And then when you started doing the, you know, the Invisible Man, how'd that ever come to play? You just
I was trying to get fired on TV because I was bored on Raw. And
awesome.
I was like, well, if I'm supposed to be a stunt double, let me just try to mimic them. So I started doing all that stuff. And then just, from there, it was like I did it and I got the you know, glasses on the end of the nose. Yes. Did you just fall down? Yes. If I'm trying to mimic him, I have to study everything he does. And then keep doing that. I'm the only one that will pull you back. You have a green light. And I just looked at him. I went, thanks. Did not talk to the man for 9 months.
That is classic.
Did not talk to him for 9 months.
Wow.
Miz and I, if we had a finish plan, obviously, like there would have to be beats that I'd be in there for and stuff like that. But pretty much 90% of everything we ever did on a house show or on television, we never discussed. Because Miz and I are friends. Like that we're, you know, Miz is one of the better people I've met in wrestling. But like we don't call each other, we don't hang out, we didn't ride together usually. But like we just had this understanding, like and I think that's from the OVW thing. It was he knew what we had and I knew what we had. And the thing is, everyone, like when they say, oh, that was so great, that was so great. Remember, you can't have Miz down without Miz. And that was the whole thing. Like anything I did, Miz was just as good because of timing. You know, and that's how we were. We just had this connection where like we knew what we were supposed to do. And that was like if Miz took a clothesline and fell down, he knew to stay down and give it an extra second because it would be like he would get hit and be like, boo. And then I would do it, yeah. And then he'd feed in. And it was like, it was a cadence that we had more than anything else.
Yeah.
It was a simple cadence we had. Like when we won the tag titles, he just knew immediately. Like when the ref goes to hand me one, he's going to grab it and he's going to go hold two up. And then I went and I did the same. And that was one of my favorite memories there at Survivor Series. Because I don't remember a lot of pay-per-views and dates or anything. And I think we were in St. Louis for this one. But when we won the tag titles, man, like that crowd at the end of the night was so loud. And if you watch that match after the finish happens when we were doing the yay boo, like I just remember the two of us were looking at each other, like when we were on the two turnbuckles, we're doing it, and we just were like, "This is insane."
Yeah, it was awesome.
And it was that was one of the loudest I've ever heard a crowd. One of, I'll put it in my top 5. One of the loudest reactions I've ever had. Yeah,
that's great, man. So you said you didn't talk to the man for 9 months. So I mean, you can not answer any question you don't want to, but
no, I don't care.
Came to an end then. Like it was just, was there a?
No, it was just like he wanted to break Miz and I up before WrestleMania, and then we had to go to him and be like, "Hey, no, we need to do this. Can we please stretch this out to the Battle Royal?" And I mean, you know, Battle Royal, I was supposed to win, and then that ended up not happening. And then, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and then it's just done. I remember a lot of people seemed to be in, you know, kind of very surprised, if not shocked, when it was done and over. But and then after that, you went into at one time you were thinking about, I mean, obviously you went to like TNA, but that's when is that when the acting thing started coming into your head? Or
yeah, it just kind of came around and that was it, you know, came around and we just did our thing and just kind of hit LA, started grinding and that was it. And then left LA and I'm actually in Lexington, Kentucky right now buying a car from Donnie P. You may remember him as Donnie P, the salesman to the stars representing the good people at Paul Miller Ford. Well, awesome. Donnie P he's a freelance now.
That is great.
And I had my car shipped from California to Lexington to have Donnie P negotiate this deal. Just to let you know, because that's like, as far as selling cars, and I'm not kidding, I will never, ever buy a car from anyone. I don't care. And Atlanta is going to be a hell of a lot easier now, but Donnie is the man. I mean, I would tell you what I got for trade-in for my car, but I'm not. I was shocked. And then they didn't have the exact car I want, so he called his friend who owns 2 car lots, and then they're getting something wholesale, and it's insane. If you're in need of a car and you are in the Kentucky area, go see Donnie P. And he doesn't work for
anybody. Wait a minute, I'm writing this down.
Maybe Donnie P become a sponsor at Lilas Studios.
Yeah, Donnie.
Dude. Well, he has DP Sports Solutions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Rip's writing it down. We're gonna go.
Oh yeah, just go. Yeah, look him up on Facebook, Donnie Prater. But he's when it comes to selling cars, this guy, I'm telling you, he is the man.
Donnie Prater.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna back up. We'll get to some more OVW stuff in a second. You started with Killer Kowalski, right? Is that where you started?
Yes.
Or no?
Yes.
Do you remember your first day going in there?
Absolutely. It was snowing out, and you walked in the building. It was a karate studio that he's saying it with, and there was a giant flight of stairs, and then there was like a little platform, and then there was another flight of stairs, right, that you go up. And on the platform was a side thing, and there was a bathroom there. And I climbed up the first set of stairs, and I'd met him at an indie show in Southbridge, Massachusetts previously. But this was February, I think, around February of 98. And as I was walking up the stairs, Killer was there, taking a hot pee. And I was like, oh. So I hurried up the stairs, walked past him and went up. And then I remember, because it was snowing out, there wasn't that many people there. He taught me how to lock up. He goes, you got to wait to go in the ring. The ring is sacred. You got to learn basic stuff. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm probably going to be here for a few weeks or a few months anyways. But I learned how to lock up. He taught me how to lock up. I never forget that. And the basic hammerlock reversals. Okay. And then he's like, all right, get in the ring. All right. So I went in the ring, and then he said, this is making it exciting. Now, I was 16 years old. So that's I was pretty blown away. Like, oh God, this is crazy. Right. In this whole world where you had to be 18 to train. My parents had to sign a permission slip, and, okay, back bump, boom. Okay. All right. Front bump. Okay. And then he had me throw a drop kick my first day.
Wow.
And so it was like this weird thing. Like, okay, I'm going to be good at this. And then as time went on, it's what Rip says. I learned the basic moves, but it was the in between, and I, once I had I learned how to give and take an arm drag, a hip toss, international, and another thing, he would teach you to my first day, and I don't know if I could ever do this. It was crazy, right? So when you sit on the top turnbuckle and someone hits you, how you slide your hand down, hang on, then throw your body off. So from sitting on the top turnbuckle to take a bump to the floor. That was pretty crazy.
You did that day one?
I did that day one. Yes. And that was terrifying, but then I was like, all right, whatever. So.
Do you remember anybody else in that class that day?
There was a guy named Jerry Blue who had a mullet.
Nice.
At the time. And
mullet.
Yeah. And then that other day I don't know. So I was a little sociopath back then.
Oh yeah. Were you intimidated at all going there, or were you like, yeah, this is
terrified? Absolutely terrified. You go from being the biggest, strongest kind of genetic stud in the high school. Because it was there was a couple big kids, but really, I'm kidding. But so no, but you go from being like that in high school, and then all right, 16, but then when the youngest guy in there is 23, that is such a huge difference. And when the body develops and everything, and so I got the crap beat out of me a lot. A lot of guys were like, who the hell is this kid? And calling me skinny and stick and everything. And it's well, I'm jacked for 16. But again, because I was tall, I think they thought I was older than what I was. And man, it was just it was interesting. But you know what? You took it, you went forward, and at the end of the day, Killer always took care of me. I remember a lot of shows I would get booked on, and just kind of I got a lot of passes, shall we say. And I don't know if that's just because of people that saw potential in me or what, but I remember a lot of people in my class, they were all on this one trajectory, and I was always I was never like part of the class. I was always kind of like on my own thing. Cause like to work out, I had these two Jack guys that went there. Jerry Bowser was one, the Boston Brawler. He was like really like a mentor to me. Transitioning from like my teens to my, to 20 years old, like, or so like the latter part of my teens, I guess, like, especially like 18, 19, 20-ish. He was very, very instrumental, like going to the gym, like just having like that attitude, a certain kind of attitude. But like took me under his wing and no one messed with me kind of deal. And that was just so nice. But he was always like, yeah, don't pay attention to all those people. They're working for this person, that person. You're going to work for Sparta, and that's where you learn and this and that. So, okay. And so, yeah, we did it. And it was just really like, I don't know. I was very, very fortunate. And yeah, just because I made the right decisions.
Did you get signed out of there to go to OVW? Mm-hmm. You were under contract when you came, right?
Yes.
You remember how that went down? How was the contract offer and that kind of stuff?
Pretty much Dr. Tom saw me at a camp and was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna hire you. Just sit tight. And I was like, all right. And then call came, what? And that was it. Just kind of just went from there. Just
was it a WWE camp, or was it someone they were hosting?
No, it was like, we're signing you. Like, you're signed. You're under contract. You have, I got like a $2,000 moving bonus, which I thought was great. But no, it just shipped me right to Louisville. Yeah.
I remember when you came, I was in that class of Rips, the contract. There was a few of us non-contract in there. Do you remember, we were talking about it earlier. Do you remember what he called you? There was a nickname.
Niles.
Niles. Yeah.
That's what it was. That's it. From that TV.
Because oddly enough, he said I looked like Brendan Fraser, and on the TV show Fraser, his brother was Niles, so that's why I got the name Niles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. We were talking about that earlier. Couldn't think for anything. I remember exactly. I remember you came in, and that's when he started calling you that. And that's when he said, "Hey, kid, don't be afraid to work out. Don't be afraid to go tan."
Yes. Yeah.
What was your impressions of Ripper when you got there?
I was just like, wow, this is WWE developmental, huh? But like, no, it was cool because, like, I mean, I never really confirmed this, but like, you could tell Dr. Tom talked to you and Danny, and like, I was kind of Dr. Tom's guy there, and they knew that they couldn't say it, but like, I could tell, like, the way they would care about me and like play ribs on me and stuff like that. That was kind of like, okay, got it. And again, like I say this, I've been so lucky because like I got there and all of a sudden, like Danny just puts the tag titles on me and Nova, and like Nova was the most experienced guy. So I'm teaming with him, which is literally like, okay, like this is the best kind of position you can be in to learn, because practice is one thing. And I like with Rip, I equate the training, right? And not just Rip's training, but training in general to like military exercises, right? And it's funny when people are like, oh, this is how to back bump and let's work on this move in wrestling practice, and people just want to kind of, F off and do that. It's like, no, that's not what practice should be past a certain point. Look, to survive today, I believe you do need kind of your own move set. You need to kind of go with the tide. However, to go back to the military training exercises, you need to train with live rounds in real life circumstances, and everything from the jab drill to the chain, the hour chain drill is amazing. If I ever open a wrestling school, like that's how I'm going to train. Like if I train people, I'm going to train them like Rip, bottom line, because it bulletproofs you to where when you're tired, when you're like, you have 10,000 people, the referee is screaming in your ear, you got to go home in, a minute and 30 seconds. Maybe you're busted up or bleeding and you can't see, you know what I mean? And because these things happen, right? When the sweat's in your eye, like when you jab someone, you are not going to screw that up. When you kick out of something, you're not going to it's not going to be a lazy kick. Like everything you do, no matter what, you are going to do, and it's going to look awesome. And there is no other way to do it. And your body, it's so weird. Like your mind just shuts down and your body does it. And here's an example. Like this was 2019. I was in Hawaii shooting an episode of Magnum PI, had not taken a bump, had not been in the business for months. Oh, I'm sorry, not months, years. Been about 3 years. I took off. Billy calls me, but hey, I want you to come to NWA. No, just come see it. You got a plane ticket. All right, whatever. I go there, And like, all right, I had to wrestle. And I swear it was like nothing, there was like I got in the ring and hit the ropes first. Yeah. Like, okay, this is that, we're good. And then I went, screw it, let's go. But it was because of Rip's training that like, I didn't miss a beat. People were like, whoa, to like, I remember Cabana came up to me like, dude, you haven't missed a step. What have you been doing? And I don't know. But it was, I equated it back to like, no, my body knows how to do this. Even if my mind is messed up or if, and Lord knows we've had our bell rung a couple times. And that's, there's no, I don't want to say worse or better. There's no more interesting feeling than to be like, you have the lights and your TV cameras everywhere. And again, like you're at the Staples Center or, the Louisville Gardens or wherever we're at, the Yum Center, Conseco, Fieldhouse, wherever it is. And like, you're there and you just have the lights and that like everyone's looking at you, but you can't seem to remember what's going on. But then like, when someone runs at you, you just know to like, I'm going to jump up and kick him in the chest, but I'm not really going to kill him. Like, and it's just like a weird thing where your body, it just takes over. It's a strange feeling. So it's just interesting, but
you think you felt that way at the time? Like when you were doing the actual training with Rip? Did you appreciate it at the time, or you were like, God, do we have to do this again? Here's
the thing. Yes and no. It got repetitive, but that's what made us good. Okay, when you're bitching and complaining, but you're still having to move because it's you got to get heat on someone's arm.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna come up with stuff. You're mad, so you're not thinking about it, but you're doing it. And then that's the most applicable. Now, I do think past a certain point, the only teacher is matches, because once you have that down, like I equate it to like getting a true black belt in something. To where like a black belt is essentially, based upon my understanding, is someone who had mastered the basics, right? And that's like with in acting, there was a lady in Malibu that said the only difference between the pros and everyone else are that pros are brilliant at the basics, right? So Rip's training, I equate it to like black belt wrestling training. Like if Rip says you're okay, I fine with me. Like I at least know, now I may not like someone's character, I may not like someone as a person, but I at least know if you were trained by Rip and Rip endorses you, then at a certain level, like we're going to be just fine. Like there's not going to be any issues with some things. And that's huge, because I don't know of any other trainer that
I thought he was saying that he doesn't like you as a person. He didn't.
No, Rip was the one thing I could have done without. Like, here's what would have been awesome. Rip,
here we go. There we go.
No. And this is the 8 a.m. with your boots on BS. Yeah. We can move it to 10 or 11 because the human body's not designed. I mean, we were partying quite a bit, like so. We would have appreciated a 10, 11 o'clock maybe call time, maybe 3 hours of practice, and then out. Okay. That would have been awesome. So
get him, Rip.
Let me explain something to you now, Idol. First of all, I'm driving from Indianapolis, 2 hours and 40 minutes usually. Plus you were an hour ahead of me. Okay. Then I go class. Then I go back. Now, because of Vince McMahon not me giving me no fucking insurance, that I was an independent fucking contractor, I had to have another fucking job. Another fucking job, because Marcus is autistic and he's got a goddamn peanut fucking allergy.
Not laughing at Marcus.
Wow.
Yeah. See? So now the whole thing is, if I can get there 240 miles or 2 hours and 40 minutes away and be there an hour early, and if you lazy motherfuckers who are getting paid to fucking learn ain't got enough fucking balls and fucking discipline, if I was in you guys' shoes, I'd be up at the gym, training in the fucking gym at 4 fucking a.m. to be the best I could fucking be, because you're getting fucking spoon-fed to be a goddamn star to make millions of fucking dollars. And I'm simply a character. It's all a risk.
Okay, hey, listen, I don't know if you remember this or not, but that class used to start at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
It started at 10 o'clock at one time, because I drove Rip from Seymour a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then something happened where 1 week he had to move it to 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It used to be from 10 to noon. Mm-hmm. He had to move it to 8 o'clock for 1 week. And then he just started stretching it from 8 to noon. And then he never went back to 10 o'clock. It literally started it went from 10 to 12 for a while. Then it was 8 to 12. And he never moved it back. I was like, Rip, you ever going to move class back to 10 like it used to be? And he's like, fuck no.
Yeah, see, I mean, but that's on him. That's on Rip, and that's fine. And to Rip's point, I have been at the gym, Team Men's Fitness Factory, at 4 a.m, but it was because I hadn't gone to bed that night. I was still up from the night before, and I was working out some things.
Because you was trained tanning, you was trained tanning and tit bar.
Idol, we're showing about 4 minutes left on this Zoom call here. So if you got got anything to plug, man, make sure you get it in.
No, I'm so happy that like we got to connect again. Rip got to yell at me. That
was awesome right there. I'm glad we got.
That felt like that was good. That was like
I'd shut up the whole time and just
that was great, man.
You know.
Hey, I got a question for you.
You know what? It got the blood pumping again. Like, I'm actually going to go train after this. Going to hit some shoulders.
Did that answer your question, like, or whatever your comment? Did that? Why do you have 8 o'clock class?
100%.
So, I mean, everybody in the wrestling business is under a unique circumstance. Mm-hmm. I don't know your story. You don't know my story. Mm-hmm. But if I made a decision to do something, there was a good reason for it.
Usually just to be an asshole, you know.
No.
No, because and honestly, look, I say that obviously that question was in jest, but no, like either way, like whatever you did, it made me the best professional wrestler I could have been. And that's the bottom line. Like, again, we're joking there, but no, straight up. And again, we all say it, like you are talked about more than you know amongst those of us that have trained with you. And the people that haven't trained with you, to be quite honest, wish they did. Because when they're in the ring with us, they all say, okay, yeah, like that's different. And then that goes all of us.
You know what's funny, Idol, is I said, when you guys leave here, you will understand what you had, and nobody else will, because you're going to be head and shoulders above everybody. You will be so calm. You're used to me yelling at you to push you to fucking to be the best you can goddamn fucking be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you don't realize it till later. But that's the way it is.
Hey, I got to get this in real quick. Hey, where do you rank your OVW title offense versus Von Lilas in your history of matches? Like top 100, top 500, maybe top 10, top 5.
It's got to be in my top 3. I mean,
top 3, nice. Top 3.
Oh, I think top 2. Probably top 2, not 3, 2.
Yeah, the guy Von Lilas, Hamburg, Germany. Yes.
Yeah, didn't speak any German, but
that's okay.
It was the match is really the shits. I remember I forgot like a whole thing, and you're like, dude, we didn't even do this whole like 2 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, forgot.
Oh, that's all right.
So you had
we had pre-planned bullshit. It was
but here's the thing: we didn't care if we didn't do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't even know that we didn't do it. So
there you go.
What else you have, man?
No, I did, but when I was training you guys, that was the highlight of my fucking life.
Oh, thank you.
It was just so much fun, and I could see you guys getting better, and you guys couldn't see yourself getting better. Yeah. And I knew that when you left there, you was going to say, God damn, we're good.
We were a fun class, weren't we?
Yeah, you guys are good compared to these fucking goofballs, these fucking stars that are fucking rotten.
No, but like I'm talking about like real life. Like we were a fun class. Like from 2003 to about 2005. And it's funny because how like we're all still close today. Like there's that kinship there that people, they look at it and they're like, what? But because like how there's just that understanding of anyone that was at OVW and like even, you know, with Beast, God rest his soul, like the, you know, the funeral to pay tribute, like everyone showed up that could from OVW. And I was just so like, that's just kind of demonstrated.
Chad Gaspard.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He said they all showed up for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, we're done, man. We got like 30 seconds, I think. So we appreciate you coming on, man. It's awesome.
No problem. Good seeing you guys.
This will be out in a couple of weeks. I'm sure you'll be dying to see it. So
hey, you got to
let me know. I'll plug it.
NWA Powerr, baby.
You got to give me.
You got it right on.